Hello everybody and welcome back to Build and Battle MTG. Today I have a fun commander deck tech on Fynn the fangbearer. It's a mono green Infects deck tech, so let's get into it. Fynn is a 2-drop commander in green that is a 1/3 with Death Touch and has the text saying, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. In case you don't know, the rules in Magic are, if you have 10 or more poison counters, you lose the game. So since Fynn gives our Death Touch creatures the ability to give poison counters to our opponents, the goal of this deck is to kill your opponents with poison counters. So let's start by the Death Touch creatures that can deal poison damage. We'll start with Occam Advisory, and it says this spell costs 2 less to cast if your opponent controls a green permanent, which there's a pretty high chance that they will. Obviously, you guys know your play group. If they have a green deck, this is a good include. It's a 2/3 Death Touch, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Also, I'm not going to be going over every card in this deck, just like the key cards. So another great Death Touch, this doesn't actually have Death Touch, but it makes 1/1 Death Touch flying, is Hornet Nest. It's a 3-drop 0/2 defender, and when it's dealt damage, put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and Death Touch onto the battlefield. So if this gets hit for 5 on a block, you're going to put 5 1/1 Death Touch flyers, which is enough to one-shot somebody with Fynn out. Really good card. We have Narnum Renegade. 1-drop Death Touches are really good in this deck because on turn 1 we can get them out and then get Fynn out in the next turn and swing in for some poison. We also have Wasteland Viper, which is a 1/2 1-drop Death Touch, and then you can Blood Rush something to get it +1/+2 in Death Touch until end of turn. This is a 2-drop 1/2 with Reach and Death Touch. Thorn Wield Archer is a 2-drop 2/1 with Reach and Death Touch. Take care of some flying creatures. Skullwinder is great. It's a 3-drop 1/3 Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, return target card from your graveyard to your hand, then choose an opponent. That player returns target card from their graveyard to your hand. So you can make a deal with somebody, be like, I'll let you get this creature back if you don't attack me with it. That's a great deal. And then we have Acidic Slime, for obvious reasons, takes out target artifact, enchantment, or land, and it has Death Touch, so even better in this deck. But if you thought that Death Touch creatures was the only way to give our opponents poison counters, you would definitely be wrong, because we are running a ton of Infect creatures as well. Starting with Glistener Elf, 1-drop 1/1 Infect. Then we have Ichor Mirror, which is a 2-drop 1/1 Infect, and when Ichor Mirror becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Great card. Then we have Bearer, which is a 3-drop 2/3 Infect. Then we have Phyrexian Swarmlord, which is a 6-drop 4/4 Infect, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 green insect creature token with Infect onto the battlefield for each poison counter your opponents have. This can get really deadly, especially since in Commander you normally have 4 opponents. That adds up really fast. Definitely a game-ending card. Great include. Core Prowler has Infect. It's a 2/2, and it can proliferate when it's put into your graveyard. Great card. Spinebiter, 3/4, 6-drop Infect. You may have it assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked. This is very lethal in a lot of situations. Great card. Plague Mirror. It ramps us. It has Infect. Phyrexian Hydra. This is just like a fun include that I put in here. It's a huge Infect creature. Viridian Corruptor is great. It's a 3-drop 2/2 Infect, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. Blight Mama is really good for late game. You can keep swinging with it and then regenerating it, dealing -1/-1 counter damage unless they take it. Corpse Cur is going to get you back a creature with Infect from your graveyard, so that's great. And Necropede can ping a creature when it dies with a -1/-1. Another strategy that we have for our deck is to equip our creatures to entice our opponents not to block them. So we have Infiltration Lens, which is a 1-drop artifact equipment, and it has equipped 1. And it says, whenever an equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. This is gonna make our opponents not want to block our creatures, so that way they might get in for some poison counters. And we can do a lot with just 1 poison counter on our opponents. We have Grappling Hook, which might seem a little expensive to get on creatures, but it can act as single target removal towards creatures because equipped creature has double strike. So you put this on a death touch creature, right? And then it says whenever equipped creature attacks, you may have target creature block it this turn if able. So you choose the creature you want to get rid of. It does first strike damage because it's death touch and kills it right away. And then we also have Feather Fleet Sandals. Feather Fleet Sandals says equipped creature has flying and haste, so really good evasion. Also, I have to go find the other equipment cards from this deck, so hold on. Okay, I'm back with the other equipment cards, so let's continue. The next one is Wings of Hibberus. It's a 2-drop equipped one, and it says equipped creature has flying, and we can also sack it to have equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step, so if you need to win that turn, make your death touch creature or infect creature unblockable, swing in for the final lethal damage. We also have Whisper Silk Cloak, which is going to make our creatures unblockable and get Shroud. Really, really good. We have Hot Swoop, which makes it unblockable, and it says whenever equipped creatures dealt damage, destroy it, but it's probably not going to get dealt damage because they can't block it unless they have like an instant. We have Prowler's Helm, which makes it unblockable except for 2 walls. And then moving on to our enchantment auras now. We have Snake Umbra, which is a 3-drop enchant creature. Enchant creature has +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. And it also has Totem Arbor. If enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. So if it dies, the aura just dies. And then we have Rancor. Really, really good enchantment. 1-drop enchant creature gains +2/+0 and trample, and when Rancor is put into the graveyard from play, return Rancor to its owner's hand. And I'm pretty sure the last aura in this deck, I put it in for kind of fun. It's awesome if you make it unblockable. It's Colossification. We have a ton of stuff that makes our creatures unblockable, so if you Colossify it, that's basically a Blightsteel Colossus that's unblockable if it's Infect, by the way. If it's Death Touch, it still only does 2 poison counters, but it'll still do like 20 something damage, so really good. And besides the equipment that makes our creatures unblockable, we also have Glaring Spotlight, which says creatures your opponents control with hexproof can't be the target of spells and abilities you control as though they didn't have hexproof. And then you can pay 3, sacrifice Glaring Spotlight. Creatures you control get hexproof until the end of turn and are unblockable this turn. Then we also have Predatory Focus, which is a 5-drop sorcery, and it says creatures you control deal their combat damage to defending player this turn as though they weren't blocked, which is very, very good. Another good strat in this deck is to proliferate more poison counters onto our opponents. So our first proliferate card is Planewide Celebration. It's a 7-drop sorcery, and it says choose 4. You may choose the same one. You may choose the same mode more than once, so you're probably just going to choose Proliferate 4 times, which is really good. We also have Courage in Crisis, which is a 3-drop sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then proliferate. We have Evolution Sage, which proliferates whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. And we have Contagion Clasp, which when it enters, you put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, then you can pay 4, tap it, and proliferate. Now moving on to single target removal, and we're going to start out with Viridian Lombo, which is so good in this deck. 1-drop equip 3. Equipped creature has tapped. This creature deals 1 damage target creature or player. Alright, so you put this on a Death Touch creature, right? You can tap it, take out any creature because it deals 1 damage, but the 1 damage is Death Touch. Or you could deal 1 Death Touch damage to your opponent and give them 2 poison counters as well, which is really good. We have Wilt, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or cycle it. And that's just some of the single target removal, but I would definitely recommend these ones to put in this deck. And to get our creatures through for extra damage, we have Bellowing Tangleworm. It's a 5-drop 4/4 with Intimidate, and it says other green creatures you control have Intimidate. Another cool strat that I found for this deck is to mutate onto your Infect creatures. So I put Auspicious Sterix in, mutate 6. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times creature mutated. Put those cards onto the battlefield. And then we have Gem Razor, mutates, gives it reach and trample and a 4/4 body. whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment and opponent controls. I put this fog in here, which says prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures or opponents' controls. So that way you can all out Sween and not worry about the crackback. And then Lifecrafter's Bestiary get you some good card advantage with that card. And yeah, that's my quick deck tech on Fynn the Fangbearer. Hope you guys liked this video. I had to keep it short so I could upload it from my house. And tell me if you guys want to see more commander deck techs. I have some really good commander decks, or I like them at least, and they're fun to use. I can do a Kranko Mob Boss deck tech next, which is very, very budget friendly and a very fun deck to use. So comment down below what you want to see next, and thanks for watching. Bye.